Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Callous worked 50 plus hours this week, including 11 to 11 the past 2 days in a row, is tired as fuck, is getting home past midnight, and is narrating Pokemon battles for your entertainment. In other words, you are obligated, because I am leveraging and guilting you in this moment, to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you've not done so already. I would really, really appreciate that. Also, this is CALLOUS Invitational 3, Round 3, lower bracket action between Dice and Starmaster, and this is just another trend which has been really large in this tour where really, really good players who could conceivably make a run at the money. I mean, anybody in this tour can, but you guys know what I mean. Guys who nobody would be surprised. It would not be considered an upset at all if said players finished in the money. Starmaster did finish in the money last year with a third place finish, and it's just been a repeated thing in this tournament where there's just a lot of really good players, many of which, surprisingly so, are in the lower bracket and are in danger of elimination as early as round 3. So Dice, who's just been around forever, is a classic winner, is a strong SPL player, versus Starmaster, who made money in this tour last year. One of those guys is going to be out with a disappointing 1-2 record. Just another big pairing here in CALLOUS Invitational 3, and here is Game 1 in their best of 3. Dice is on the bottom, Star's on the top. Blissey lead for Dice. Interesting. I mean, I love Blissey, great Pokemon. It's just weird that it's a lead. And she's going to completely swing and a miss with counter. Starmaster not falling for that shit. He's just going to go for Roar. And that's going to leave us in a tar-on-tar situation. But that counter's one of those moves where it's just so much better if the other person doesn't know about it. The second it gets revealed, especially when it whiffs, it just loses a ton of its effectiveness. Now, the logic is it's okay if it gets revealed and loses its effectiveness because you've already used it once correctly and it knocked something out. So who cares if it loses its effectiveness after that? It's already done its job. But yeah, with that counter doing actual nothing, I think the Bliss is now going to be on the underwhelming side, and Starmaster is never, unless it is a desperate situation, going to just play into that. So Star has a clearly physically offensive team. He's just got a mag and 3 physical pokes so far. Pretty straightforward. One of them is Lax, who comes in on this T-Wave. Dice, on the other hand, I don't know. It looks like just standard TSS, but with a Bliss lead, that throws me off a little. Could be something wonky, but it could and probably is just standard-ish TSS that happens to be leading Bliss instead of leading. I mean, he's got Swampert and Tar, which are both leads. Tar is one of the most popular leads in the game, but I do understand the logic of leading the Bliss, trying to bait out like a Meteor Mash or whatever, and then just countering it back. I can definitely see some potential high upside from having that lead. It just didn't work out this game. So we've got ourselves a 5-5 after a self-destruct. We've got a Gengar switching into Steelix here completely safely. Interesting that he has Gengar with seemingly no spikes. Now, granted, it could be last Pokemon Scarm. Scratch that, last Pokemon Fortress. But yeah, that makes a lot more sense. So that's going to reveal a lot about the team. So the T-Tar is almost certainly, we've already seen Crunch Pursuit. But yeah, if we didn't know already, then we know the T-Tar is going to be at least partially, if not entirely, special. It's not entirely in this case because it is Brick Break, but the second you see Fortress, you know that the Tar is going to be special because it's going to be removing the opposing Gengar that really plagues Fortress. Now, granted, it doesn't look like Starmaster has a Gengar. I'd be very surprised if that were his last poke in this instance. It doesn't make a lot of sense on the team that he's shown so far, but that is the goal behind it. So yeah, it is after all just a traditional TSS team. Granted, it's 4E as opposed to Scarm, so a little variation there, but it is basically just a standard 4E TSS with just an unconventional lead. Is that a... Wait, she's still... Okay, I was so confused for a second as to how the Bliss was poisoned there. That didn't make sense. Oh, man. From the Magneton. There we go. I was going to say, why didn't it natural cure out for a split second there? This is how you could tell that I'm tired. This is how you could tell that I had a long day at work. I I'm sitting there wondering, wait a minute, does this Blissey have Serene Grace? What the fuck is going on? I am not able to fully focus right now, as you can see. We do have a +1 Gyarados here. It's going to blank its Earthquake on Gengar, which should be able to live. I mean, all but the, softest Gengars ever would live a +1 HP flying. And Starmaster does get out of the way. It is just Thunderbolt, which obviously hits the 4x weakness of the Gyara. But T-Tar takes it a lot better. Will-O-Wisp is going to miss here. And it's going to be a Pursuit, which is going to do 41%. So should Gengar stay in, another Pursuit would not kill. Crunch would, obviously. Gengar could try to get out of the way, but he, of course, risks another Pursuit in doing so. As it turns out, he misses Will-O-Wisp for a second time, unluckily, and he's going to get crunched. So he could have ran away there and not gotten hit with Pursuit had he tried to do that. So that brings us to a 4-4. Blissey here does get the soft-boiled off. Steelix here is actually reasonably threatening now that the Gengar and the Swampert, who both handle it really well, are out of the way. Toxic there, I mean, it doesn't overly matter on Bliss because of Natural Cure, but it does force her out at some point, and T-Tar and Jirachi do not want to take the stab Earthquakes, and Fortress, I don't know how much he takes from Earthquake. It's neutral against it. I mean, Steelix has crappy attack, and Fortress has very high natural defense, so maybe he takes the Earthquakes okay. There we go. Yeah, he takes them fine. 23%. So the Fortress is going to be the best bet here against the Steelix, given what we know the move set to be, which right now is Earthquake, Protect, Toxic. We don't know the last move, but it's a pretty decent bet that it's just Boom. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I mean, Star's got that Pursuit Tower to deal with Gengar, not only because Gengar checks the Gyarados and maybe the Lax, and maybe the last poke is something like a Salamence, which Gengar would also be a problem for, but also Pursuit Tower removing Gengar allows the Lax that we already know has Boom, and potentially the Steelix to go for Boom as well. So Fortress has just been spiking up. Its Earthquake is really underwhelming here too, despite being super effective. It's only doing 19%. Steelix has astronomical natural defense, and Fortress, again, like Steelix, just has garbage physical offense and is not a threat. So they're just going blow for blow here. Fortress will not live another. Steelix will, pending a crit. And he actually could live a crit as well, depending on the damage roll. But a crit does not come. It would have killed there, but it doesn't come. And Steelix does get the knockout with his own EQ. So that's going to put Starmaster back in the lead. He's got a 4-3 advantage now. Also hasn't revealed the last poke, but like I said, I suspect it is a Salamence or... yeah, not a lot of other things. I mean, it could be a Coon. I could see that. I could see the Mag removing Skarm and then, yeah, Gengar threat out of the way. I could see it being Coon. One of those makes sense, but I would think it's a setup sweeper that benefits from Skarmory not being there. That's what makes the most sense to me. Rachi here is showing Ice Punch against the Steelix, and the last one did 21%, so Steelix now should be out of range, unless that was a really low damage roll and a more normal roll would kill him, but he looks safe here, and yeah, he's going to live that, does 19%. Steelix is doing work. How many games does Steelix, without using Boom, get 2 separate knockouts? But that's exactly what's happened this game. That's going to be a second kill for Steelix. I don't know how often you're going to see that. Just a Steelix that hasn't shown a single attack other than Earthquake has 2 knockouts. That's pretty crazy, pretty rare. Failed Protect here. And finally, the Steelix goes down to a Brick Break. But man, it did work. And we've got ourselves a... oh, there's the last poke. Got ourselves a 2-3 situation. Last poke Salamence here does have lefties. Probably just a second DD poke. Goes straight Earthquake here. He is safe from Rock Slide, but he's not safe from Ice Beam. That was a critical hit. Maybe it mattered. It's really hard to say. I would like to think that Ice Beam plus Sand would have killed it, usually. But I guess in theory it could have been a bulky Mence. There is bulky DD sets of both Mence and Gyra. There's a freeze on Bliss. So, yeah, it's a fully special tower, Roar, Pursuit, Crunch, Ice Beam, so that's going to be walled really hard by the Blissey. However, T-Tar comes in here, that's safe from anything, well, a crit helps, and a Specs drop. I was going to say, he's safe from pretty much anything other than a freeze that this T-Tar can do, but he gets the crit and the Specs drop, that helps. And now Blissey comes in. And another freeze. That's 2 freezes in a row from Starmaster. Pretty unlucky. I don't know. I might stay in and try to thaw if I'm Bliss. No, he's going to pull it back. He's going to go to T-Tower again. And there's Ice Beam knocking it out. So that's a bit unlucky. That's going to leave Dice with only Blissey. Maybe he could have kept his T-Tower if not for those freezes. 2 in a row, pretty crappy. Like I said, if I were Dice there, I might have stayed in for a while and tried to thaw, because the best thing this T-Tower can do is a 13% crunch. That's just not that damn exciting. Blissey would have had multiple turns there to try to thaw, and I think I would have tried it at least a couple of times so I could keep my T-Tower around if I'm Dice, but he saw it differently. So it's going to be just Blissey against both the T-Tower, which it is safe against and will win against, and the Gyarados. Now, Specs drops don't matter outside of the T-Tower matchup because the Gyarados, of course, is going to be strictly physical. A freeze obviously matters should a third one come down. That's obviously very unlikely to happen, but hey, stranger things, right? I mean, 10% is 10%. Going for S-tosses now. Kind of finding the balance between Seismic Toss and Soft Boiled. There is a Specs drop, but like I said, outside of this 1v1 matchup, the Specs drop does not matter. That's going to prompt a Soft Boiled, and T-Tower will be fully paralyzed here. Seismic Tosses are doing 25% of whack, so T-Tower will live 2 more of those right now, and he could lefties up to a point where he can live even more than that. Full Para kicks in. So there's no reason for Blissey to do anything other than Seismic Toss again. We know her full moveset. We saw counter right on turn 1, which obviously has no effect against this T-Tower. And a third full para in a row kicks in. So now a little bit of bad luck going against Star, who had been on the good end of some RNG earlier. But yeah, so we've got counter T-Wave, S-Toss, Soft Boiled. This matchup here really depends on the sets of both pokes, but bottom line, if it's not a Rest Gyra, the game's over right now, because even a crit doesn't kill the Bliss, and S-Toss plus Sand would kill the Gyarados. But we find out that it is a Rest Gyarados. And Blissey went Soft Boiled there just to be uber safe, but Rest is not what she wanted to see. So now Dragon Dance, Earthquake, Rest, last move probably Hidden Power, yeah, Flying a Rock, right? I think Star actually is going to win this now. Dice can paralyze him with Thunder Wave once he wakes up, but he's going to need a really lucky string of full para, because what should be able to happen here is Starmaster can get all the way up to, I mean, he probably needs +6 because he can't come up short and die to counter. But Starmaster should be able to slowly but surely get up to +6 and then just one-hit KO the Bliss. And the only way the Dice can prevent that is if full para kicks in at a bad time to not let the Gyarados get the rest off. So there's 2 full paras in a row. The first one I don't think mattered because I doubt Gyarados went immediately for rest, but he probably went for it that turn. He certainly needs to go for it now. If he's full powered again, he loses. So that right there was the window, I think, for Dice. He would have needed a full power on that turn, and then he would steal this game. But I think otherwise he's going to lose. He does have a few more opportunities to do this. He's going to need 4 Seismic Tosses in order to get it done. He's got 19 of them remaining. So he will have a few more chances at this sequence. But Star is going to need running full paralysis in order to get BS'd out by this Blissey. Otherwise this game will slowly but surely go to Star. And remember that once the Blissey runs out of Seismic Tosses, nothing else actually matters. Star can be fully paralyzed as long as he needs to be at that point. It no longer matters because Dice would have no way to actually kill the Gyarados unless Star got really stupid and greedy and attacked before being fully boosted and walked into counter. But he's not going to do that. He's not going to attack until he's at +6. So this really strictly comes down to, all right, here we go. Here's an opportunity. If he gets another full para, Dice can win. This is going to be a second 1 in 4 possibility to win the game. Does the full para kick in? No! Oh, he's had 2 shots at it. That's got to be so frustrating for Dice. He's had 2 different shots at a 1 and 4, and either one of those, had it gone his way, would have resulted in him winning the game at that very moment. But neither one has cooperated for him, and Dice is going to be running out of chances. He still has 16 S-tosses, so he still is going to have a few shots at this, but Gyra's getting big. It's not just about S-toss PP. There is going to come a point where if the Gyra does hit +6, it can simply kill the Bliss, and Seismic Toss PP does not matter. So Dice is definitely on a clock in more ways than one. He needs to kill this thing before it gets to +6, and he also needs to kill this thing before he runs out of S-tosses. We'll see what happens. The window is limited, but stranger things have happened. He's already had 2 opportunities at it. There's DD. He is 1 more DD away from winning this game. However, he's also 1 full para away from winning this game. This is going to be another opportunity here. If he full paras here, he wins. But no, the guy is actually faster now, despite the paralysis, because of all those boosts. Yeah, this is going to be really hard. Blissey actually might want to not Seismic Toss. Now, yeah, this I think is a mistake from Dice, right? Because, yeah, Gyra's just going to wake up first and go for rest, and Dice can't stop that. S-tossing now I think is a mistake, right? There we go. He realizes it 1 turn too late, but that last S-toss was pointless, I think, because Star can just wake up and rest, and there's absolutely nothing Dice can do to prevent that. Here's the wake. And yeah, he just goes straight rest. Of course he does, right? You never eat a T-Wave there and risk simply losing. And Dice goes for the last resort counter there, just hoping, all right, Star, attack me. And hoping that he gets greedy and just goes straight for the attack without actually calcing it. But there's no way that Star is attacking until he's at maximum boost, which he is 1 boost away from being. But nevertheless, there's no way that he's going for it until he's at that point. Thunder Wave. Gyra is about to wake up, so this is going to be the last chance for Dice. He's just going to have to find a perfect string of full paras. There's the final Dragon Dance, and there's the Thunder Wave. Gyra's faster at this point, and it can and will 1-hit KO Bliss, so there needs to be just running full para several turns in a row. There's one of them. There's S-Toss. This is still going to have to happen several more times. Will Starmaster get that unlucky? A running string of full para. There are 2 in a row. Can this really happen? He would need 4 of these in order to lose. Can that really happen here? 3! Jesus Christ! Is this going to happen? Is there going to be 4 full paras in a row to lose the game for Starmaster? That cannot happen. Is that about to happen? No! The very last opportunity, he gets the rest off. After 3 consecutive full paras, he comes for the 3rd time in this sequence. 1 full para away from losing the game. Dice is going to be so frustrated. He's had 3 separate chances where a 1 and 4 is the difference between him winning the game on the spot or not, and it has not gone his way. And at this point, I think Dice is really in trouble because the guy is just going to wake up and kill it, right? Nothing he can do. There's the wake. There's the hidden power. And that's it. Blissey and Dice go down. But what an endgame that was. I thought it would have been a lot more straightforward the second we saw Rest. Now, granted, if it weren't Rest Gyra, if it were any set other than Rest, if it were Taunt Gyra, Roar Gyra, whatever, the game would have been over instantly because it couldn't kill the Bliss the first time when it came in at 20 whatever percent, and S-Toss would simply take it out. But he had the exactly right set, and then he caught the breaks exactly when he needed to catch them. Dice, like I said, with 3 separate opportunities to get a cooperative 1 and 4 chance and take the Gyarados out, but it just did not come, and that has got to be frustrating for Dice. But nevertheless, that game, more exciting than I thought it would be in that endgame, but Starmaster is going to be the winner. And that is going to send us to a game 2 in which Dice needs to win not only that game, but a potential subsequent third game, or he is going to be out with a disappointing 1 and 2. Thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you guys in the next game.